Hi, lovely students. Welcome to today's feedback session. We've got 3 essays. Sometimes I do a task 1 for academic or GT, but today we're just going to do 3 task 2s. It's good to see you. So I've been experimenting with streaming into YouTube at the same time over the last few weeks, and I just don't know what students prefer to do, whether they prefer to watch on YouTube or Facebook group. And I don't know, there are some really big names, really successful people like Keith and Liz on YouTube. So I'm not sure whether YouTube is the correct channel for me because I'm so busy in the academy. I've just finished teaching this morning. We wrote another fantastic essay. So my new, last week I said, I'm so happy. I was in the academy and I sent an essay to an examiner. The students wrote it. My aim is to get them a 7. That's the aim, nothing more. 7. Anything more is a bonus. That's brilliant, but we don't aim for an 8 or a 9. We aim for 7 because it's achievable. It's much easier to move from a 6.5 to a 7 than a 6.5 to an 8. Anyway, last week we wrote a great essay in class, and I thought, yeah, this is good. I'm going to send it to an examiner. I'm a trainer. I'm not an examiner, so I don't want to tell them, oh yeah, it's a 7. He told me it was an 8, very, very close to a 9. So what we're doing now, we do one practice day where we write together. And each week I'm actually going to send our essays to the examiner to get an official band score and start collecting these essays for new students to look at. Anyway, it's lovely to see you. So let me just see if you're live. It would be great to know if you're on YouTube or Facebook. I don't know whether to continue with YouTube. I like focusing all my attention on one thing, and it seems to me that YouTube is a big big thing. So I just have to check because I've always got tech issues. Yes. Hi guys, lovely to see you. So share screen, and let's start with. Oh, I just had to tell this person that. Yeah, great. Okay, so this is Simna. We're going to do Simna first. And it's to what extent? So these are one of the most common questions. Discuss both views and to what extent. Where's my share screen? It's going to be interactive. So I would love for you to tell me what you think about this essay. And we're going to highlight some good vocabulary. Okay, so children who are brought up in families that do not have large amounts of money are better prepared to deal with the problems of adult life than children brought up by wealthy parents. Now, I might just make this bigger for you to see. So one of the things that I focus on a lot with students is always to identify comparatives and superlatives in the question. We have a comparative. So if you have a superlative question, like, this is the best way, do you agree? You absolutely have to think of other ways and to compare them to see if they are the best, better than, not as good as, or equally as good as. This is the language you need when you see comparative language. And let's see how Simna has done. So to what extent do you, so we'll just delete that. So it's a to what extent question. We'll delete that so we can see the question with the response. It's commonly believed that children, no capital C, who grow up in poor families. Okay, so we've got some singular plural issues here. Who grew up in poor families, that children, what's the issue here, everyone? Can anyone identify? And can anyone tell me the name of this grammar error? That would be awesome. I can't see any comments. Deal. Yeah. So great. So it is commonly that children who grew up in poor families. So deal. Because it's children, because it's plural. Someone just suggested in the comments, so destitute. Good job, Wasim. Destitute. Destitute's a really strong word. So you've got poor, and then you've got destitute. It's like the maximum poor you can possibly be, with no clothes, no food. So I would say that's possibly a bit strong, because this is do not have large amounts of money. It's not destitute. Destitute means no home. But I'll tell you a much better word for poor: disadvantaged. To be poor, it means without opportunities. And so that's a nice synonym. Deal with adult life crises. So this needs to be plural, and crises is a tricky one. So yes, that's it. E on the S. E on the end, not I, because it needs to be plural. Much better. Great. So Simna's got the comparative, than children from rich families. So immediately, so it's a nice paraphrase, but immediately you've got two systematic errors with subject verb. Immediately you don't get a 7 in your grammar. So from family is a countable noun, so it needs an a or a the, or it needs to be plural. So plural. Good. I personally believe that money plays a pivotal role in today's life. Okay, so good job, Simna, but it's not specific enough. It plays a role in the, yes, of course money plays a role in a life, but does it, what's the premise? So children, a better fact, I personally believe that money, you have to say about the premise, you have to say your opinion. Better, does it help children deal with, does it help them equip them? So equip is going to be a great word here. So I personally believe that money equips young people to cope with blah, 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 blah. You have to, plays a pivotal role is far too general. It's got no connection with the premise. So this is far too general. So you've kind of lost some task response points there. You have to be specific about, does it help people cope with problems? Good. Good. So now, on the contrary, to conclude, it's a very short essay. Let me just check the. And also, I should check these essays first, because okay, so it's 200 words, Simna. You need minimum 250. So, and you watch that, I need to upload some essay structure training. For to what extent do you agree or disagree? I teach that you fully agree or disagree. So you're saying, in fact, I personally believe. So you're fully agreeing. So body paragraph 1 should be one reason, and body paragraph 2 should be the second reason. There's no on the one hand, on the other hand. There's no, in your task response, no need to talk about the other side. Very important. You can write a balanced approach, but I don't recommend it at all. On the one hand, acknowledge that children who grew up in low or middle class family. Again, so families, you need plural. Face a lot of challenges and difficulties in their life. They work hard for a better life. Therefore, it is considered that they are better prepared to face the life. Often these children learn to save money for the future. So it's not, your idea isn't well developed enough. Excuse me. Therefore, it is considered that they are better. No, but how? You need to explain how. You need to give a more detailed explanation and an example. That's what you need to do. Okay, on the contrary. So it's not a contrasting essay. You simply agree or disagree. But children from wealthy families get better facilities, education, and careers. Plural. They get whatever they desire. Don't desire for. Furthermore, so again, you've not explained well, you know, parents can afford to provide children with more opportunities, such as, so I'm such a big stickler on topic sentences. So this topic sentence is far too general. Sorry, too many things in it. Children from wealthy families have better opportunities. Okay, so keep it general and then explain. Parents from more advantaged situations can afford to pay for dance classes, extra tuition, blah, 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 blah. Parents can afford to pay for blah, blah, blah. So, Simna, your ideas are just not developed. You need to explain and give examples. Furthermore, those families build foundation. Foundation is countable noun, so you need a. For the children to begin their life perfectly, their education are far better than those of poor. These children learn the most important aspects, maybe far later than. But then this idea is contrasting with this, the education, lifestyle, and facilities. So you need to be more, don't make a list, the education, lifestyle, and facilities. If you're going to talk about education, talk about only education and talk about extra tuition fees or private schools. So you just need to work on developing your ideas. Money and education built a better life. So that's past simple. So no past simple. We're just talking about a fact or the truth. Build a better life, build a better future life. Future, not life. Therefore, I believe that children from a poor are better prepared to face the challenges in life. Okay, so, okay, it's a good start, Simna, but you need to follow some of my essay structure training. It's in the unit section, or join the academy. We're doing such fantastic classes every day at the moment. We've got less than 10 people in a Zoom class. I always keep it this number so that everybody has got a little grammar difficulty or a grammar success. And we build these, and we're following the same pattern each time, building them in a little bit more of a sophisticated way. Good job. So we are going to look at, I just need to check if there are any questions. Wasim, pediatric for children. Now, I've seen you write pediatric before, Wasim, and it's not relevant. It's not. Okay, so we're going to jump on to Mithiles. So actually, Mithili, I'm going to do you after, because I said to Andrea I was going to do theirs first. Here is another to what extent essay that's done in a much better structure, the one that I teach and recommend. Andrea isn't one of my students. So the question is, students should choose a university major that prepares them for high-paying careers. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this statement? To what extent do you agree? So there are a lot of high school students debating what career to pursue. The majority of students prepare for high-paid job as they are thinking on, we don't think on, we think about their financial future. In this essay, I'm going to explain why I strongly agree with students preparing for this kind of jobs. I've got to get my essay structure training out. So, because the body paragraphs are good, the introduction isn't great. So we always avoid a lot of very basic, it's not academic. There are many students. So I actually teach, I don't teach general background sentences. I think paraphrasing is such a skill that you're better to focus on how to paraphrase first instead of writing a general sentence. And but okay, you should probably say here there are many students debating what career to pursue. The majority of students prepare for high-paid jobs. Actually, do they? As they are thinking about their financial future. Prepositions. So in this essay, I am going to, this is not what we want in an academic essay. So to what extent do you agree or disagree? You could say, this essay discusses why I strongly agree. You could say that if you want to say, but you would be better to say, in fact. So this is a lovely little transition signal with a to what extent. In fact, I strongly agree with, or this essay discusses why. We don't agree on, we agree with. I strongly agree with. Now, can anybody find the grammar error here? Anybody? Just going to wait to see if you can identify it. EJ, have I done a feedback for you before? Okay, oh, very good. So jobs is plural. AJ, I'll squeeze you in. We've got time for you as well. These kinds of jobs. These kinds of jobs. Good. Okay. If it were me, if you have a to what extent essay question and there is should in the premise, here we've got should. I teach a lovely, it's a very sophisticated introduction that my students are practicing all the time. And it begins with opinions differ regarding whether. I'm going to write that for you here. Recommended. Recommended. And it's a great ability to completely paraphrase without just saying changing people to individuals. So opinions differ regarding whether high school students should opt or select let's say major, let's change that to select a degree that. So opinions differ regarding whether. If you have should in your to what extent, this is a beautiful paraphrase. And then you say, in fact, I completely agree. Or if you disagree, however, I wholeheartedly disagree. So we use in fact for agree and however for disagree. Okay, so what I really liked about this, what I loved about this essay, this is great, Andrea, is your topic sentence. Your topic sentence is so important. Topic sentence, we practice. There's a science, there's a beauty with topic sentences. So this is a perfect topic sentence for a to what extent. One of the main reasons why is, so you've got one of the main reasons why students should pursue a career that will reward them monetarily is the loan repayment they are tied into. Fantastic, apart from there's an issue with this monetary. So the monetary is an adjective. Adjective describes a noun, but we are describing a verb. So it needs to be an adverb. So it needs to be monetarily. Monetarily. So we'll reward them monetarily. Is the loan repayment they're tied to? Fantastic. Okay, soon after graduating, students have to pay their student loan. They don't pay it, they have to repay it. The interest singular, of this loan will increase as long as they remain unpaid. This is really great grammar, as long as. So this is conditional sentence turned around using as long as instead of if. So, wonderful. So students are forced to pay them as fast as it is possible for them. We don't need two thems. They're not forced to, they want to, but okay, a job where you will get paid enough in, with a year, with a month, in the first year, or two, to repay this loan will allow these professionals to keep building their futures without any financial ties, plural. Nice. Okay, people who prepare for other jobs that do not provide this financial sustainability are chained to this commitment for as long as it can take them to repay it. So got some great vocabulary. This could restrain them from different goals, such as buying a house, a car, or planning a vacation. That is why students should study careers that they know will allow them to be financially free soon after graduating. So this is it's a very good paragraph. Now I'm just seeing if there's any systematic errors. I talk about these all the time. Can anyone tell me what a systematic error is? And can you identify one in here? Because you can make errors and get a band 7. You can, but you can't make systematic errors. Hi, MD, it's good to see you. Huma, this kind of starting should be used in one opinion, but only it would not be applicable. It is applicable, Huma, and I'll tell you why. Opinions differ regarding whether, because the question says, to what extent do you agree or disagree? It means they are asking our opinion, which means there's a possibility for different opinions. So you can definitely, I see your point. I understand completely what you mean. But I promise you can use this. I work with IELTS examiners. They love this. They love it. Yes. they used to write my essays for me. So I used to pay people to write my essays before I got confident when I was teaching, because I'm not an examiner. I didn't know exactly what I needed to write. So I used to outsource my work and the essays that I teach in the academy, and I would pay people to write essays for me on a platform called Upwork. So you can go, and any professionals who have a skill like computer coding or writing, crazy lights coming in the window. So yes, so when they used to write the essays for me, is it Maha who asked that? Huma, they would write this introduction. So these introductions are written by examiners. Does that make sense? But I understand your logic. So systematic errors, can anyone remember what I tell you about systematic errors? AJ, I'll do yours. So systematic error is when you have two or more errors or mistakes with the same grammar aspect. So it's like an article. Maybe in one paragraph, you've got two article mistakes, then it means systematic. And a systematic error stops you from getting a 7 in your grammatical range and accuracy. So there are no systematic errors in this paragraph. So now, the fact that companies with high-paying jobs are also the ones that provide the best benefits package is another reason why. Wonderful, brilliant topic sentences, brilliant topic sentences. As students graduate from university, they need to have some type of support on some aspects of their life. We don't have support on, support with or support concerning. The benefits provided from these companies usually include health, dental, and drugs coverage. I wouldn't say drugs, it's very American and because it has a negative connotation. I would say medicine. Medical, health, and medicine coverage. It's not wrong to say drugs. You can say drugs, but I don't like it. These three aspects are important when starting your career because it provides a feeling of safety. Brilliant idea. This essay is very good. Employees that do not count with this type of benefits can be vulnerable, count with, to let any, okay, so the biggest, you've got systematic errors with prepositions, I'm afraid, Andrea. Your essay is excellent. It's excellent. The task response is excellent, but your prepositions are all over the place. Big confusion with prepositions. This type of benefits can be vulnerable to we're not vulnerable to verb, we're vulnerable to noun. Okay, so we're vulnerable to any health incident which might affect their financial position. Benefits are another reason to pursue this rewarding jobs. We don't have pursuing. So let's say consequently, we'll just show the examiner. This is a, are another reason to pursue, not to pursuing. And then this is singular. These. In conclusion, students are still debating what kind of career pursue, should think about. That's a very confused sentence. In my view, counting with a major on these types of jobs gives you financial freedom and safety in the long run. In conclusion, so this is, it's not, what is this crazy sun? Excuse me. Oh. Okay. It's not great to put in your conclusion. It's not good at all to put people are debating or there are two views about. You just need to summarize your views. So counting with counting In my view, selecting a major. A major. In my view, selecting a major on, focused on, selecting a major focused on high-paying jobs, blah, blah, blah. Good. That's what you want for your conclusion. Okay. Any questions about that? So, fantastic task response. I loved the ideas. I loved the topic sentences, very, very high level. This wouldn't get a 7 in grammatical range and accuracy because of persistent issues with prepositions. But it's a very good response. Very, very, very good. Any questions about this? So we've got time for 2 more. So Maha, good question. Employees that, I would probably have suggested who. So that is synonymous with who when it's a defining relative clause. We can use that for who, and we can use that for which. Who is probably a little bit better, but if it's variety is what we want as well. Very nice. So we've got Methily, and then I'm going to do you, AJ, if you're still there, and if you haven't got time to watch now, I'll tag you afterwards, not with the corrected document. So, yeah, Wasim, articles are actually okay. In this, it's prepositions. If you see here, I've corrected all the prepositions. Oh, here, these types of benefits, and a couple of singular plural. Great. Very good. So, Methily. So we're going to finish. The idea is that I do this in an hour. We're going to finish in 25 minutes. I'm going to attach these documents afterwards. Now, few people. You know what? You know when something inside makes you like this? This question is incorrect. So this has been copied incorrectly. We never say few people. It's a few, or it's some. Anyway, good. So, Methily. A few people think that old buildings such as art galleries, public halls should be protected by the government, but others think that new buildings should be built in that place. Okay. A section of the society believes that it is not significant for the government to properly maintain the condition of ancient buildings, while there are others who disagree with this notion. It's not so much disagree, Methily. They think that new buildings should be built. So it's not, you need to be specific. Now, a section of the society, it would be much better to say, so we can start this one with opinions differ regarding whether, but simply it is thought by some, or there are some who think that, but not a section of the society. It's not an accurate synonym for some people. There are some people who, or tell you what, let's delete that. It is, let me just change it to the passive. It is believed by some that, okay? So sometimes I'm working with one student in the academy on simplifying his language. He tries to think of all of these elaborate, crazy phrases, and sometimes we need to be more simple. And synonyms, if there isn't a direct, you need to learn exact synonyms. And if there isn't an exact synonym, you need to kind of keep it the same. But anyway, it is believed by some that I would love to see opinions differ regarding whether old buildings should be protected, with some believing that it is not significant for the government to properly maintain the condition of H, while there are others who disagree with this notion. You need to be specific here, Methany, but that's okay. Now, I opine that the government should preserve. Oh, okay. This is good and it's nice, but I should start just doing feedback on essays with students who follow my structure. So first of all, we don't opine. I always recommend never opine. Nobody says opine. I'm 40 years old, and the first time I saw the word opine was when I was 35 in an IELTS group from a non-native speaker. Nobody says opine. So I believe, or I would argue that good. The government should preserve ancient destructions. And it's like this very elaborate, crazy ideas articulated further in this discourse. This is not very academic. So what you'd be better saying here, contrasting your ideas in a while sentence, or saying this, okay? This essay discusses both perspectives and why I believe that. This is not a memorized phrase. A memorized phrase is, this essay will discuss both views and give my opinion. That's a memorized phrase. This is not a memorized phrase. This is a thesis that's recommended by examiners. This essay discusses both perspectives and why I believe that. Okay, good. So people think good. You'd be better to say some people, because it's some people, other people. Some people think that replenishing. Now, replenish means like your glass. This is replenish. Okay, my tea's run out. Your tea's run out. Would you like me to replenish it? So replenish is when something runs out and you put more. So it's not the correct word for ancient buildings. Also, ancient isn't the best. Ancient is like so old, like Egypt, like the pyramids. Historic. Okay. So anybody got any ideas for the word about buildings, about maintaining or making them new again? Let me just check in the comments. Anybody? Refurbishing. Refurbishing. Not replenishing. No the, because we mean all. I would say historic. If you're talking about buildings a lot, I would say ancient. I would say architecture. Historic architecture is not necessary based on factors such as time and money. It requires a lot of time to renew ancient buildings. So there's lots of repetition with ancient. Let's think of a word for old buildings, historic. No, so Fahad, it's not too long. The introduction for discuss both views does need to be a bit long. And also I made lots of corrections. So anybody? Ancient? Old? Renew? Vintage? renew character. I've got the best collocation. Oh, I'm going to put this to put in the group tomorrow. Period properties. Period. This is amazing. Period properties. This is why I love live teaching. If I wanted to make a digital course years ago, and I'm just thinking there are so many digital courses, but when I teach live every week, I come across new vocabulary and collocations, and I'm constantly building a library of amazing vocabulary. Okay, here, period properties means old properties that are beautiful with character, and also character properties. Okay, so these, we could use one of these, okay, to renew character properties. Good, good. And also the cost involved would obviously be high. Would be obviously high. Sorry, Methily. For example, the cost of. So I'm always drilling when you have of and you have a noun before of, you need the 90% of the time. Is at, for example, the cost of construction is at peak when compared to the material cost during the ancient times. Hence, people seem to be convinced with the fact that it's better to construct a new building instead of wasting money on the old ones. Okay, convinced of the fact that. However, there are a few advantages of renovating historical. So it's general noun, we're talking about all, so no the. There, so what's the problem here? What grammar? What's the grammar issue here? It's a good topic sentence, Methily, good. It's not really an outweigh essay though, but it's a good way of explaining. But you'd be better if it's a discuss both views. I teach, however, I agree with those who believe that, but this is also a good way to express your opinion. Oh, heritages, nice, Mitu. Which outweigh, so you've got a few, which is plural. So you want the verb, which outweigh the advantages associated with demolishing them. Wonderful word. But we cannot start a sentence with because. No, because. Just start with these buildings, these historical buildings. These historical buildings, plural, pave the way for the future generations to gain knowledge about the technological of our ancestors in architecture. For example, Taj Mahal in India, which is one of the 7 wonders. So we want to write the word 7, which is one of the 7 wonders of the world, still holds high value for its architecture. Similarly, the construction of the pyramids, so it's a specific thing, are still an unsolved mystery, which clearly depicts the importance. By renovating these buildings, our children can learn about the architecture in the past. Great. Okay, to conclude. So with your conclusion, we don't say, I would like to do this, simply, I believe. That's it. To conclude, I believe that I just want to tell you or make you aware that an IELTS essay is a very unique type of essay. There are so many types of essays. If you've been to university, you know the different types of essays that you do for your degree. they're 1,000 or 3,000 words. So the IELTS essay is so short, it's 250. So it does have to be a specific way. There are some things which you have to be just very direct. So there are many different ways to write conclusions for different essays, but for an IELTS essay, this is how we write a conclusion. Great. Good job, Methalie. Good. AJ, if you're still there, great. And if you're not, you can watch this later. But Mitu, pave the way. Pave the way means to create a possibility for something. It's a phrase, it's a fixed phrase. So let me just stop this here. And let me go and get AJ's essay. Oh, it disappeared. In the meantime, let me know if you have any questions. So tell me your opinion. I'm very interested in, let me just find AJ. As IELTS students, are you spending a lot of time on YouTube? Because I don't know whether to pursue this YouTube or just to, here's AJ's essay. It's to what extent? Oh, it's a nice one. Good, good, good. I don't know whether YouTube or just training in the group. I'm doing a fantastic training on Thursday, how to explain your ideas. So I'm not just teaching grammar. This is a conditional. This is inversion. I'm showing you how to use complex grammar to explain your ideas, because that's what you need to do. You need to explain your ideas. You don't need to just know the grammar. And I think that's what a lot of teachers miss. You have to show the students how to use the grammar to explain their ideas, to connect their idea and the grammar. Okay, so this is AJ's. And if you're still with me, so I've got 10, 15 minutes to do this. To what extent do you agree or disagree? So some people think that outdoor activities are more beneficial for children's development than playing computer games. To what extent do you agree or disagree? In today's modern age, some people are of the opinion that performing physical outdoor games are activities. Remember what I said about the comparative? So important. So this is more beneficial. But AJ has just said quite important. He hasn't said comparative, more or less or equal or better or not as good as. So you need a comparative. That's not a comparative. I believe that adolescents should be encouraged. Okay, AJ, nice. But so in this essay, we will discuss. So that's not how we write that. That's not a recommended thesis for an IELTS essay. And it's not about advantages or disadvantages. So it's to what extent do you agree or disagree? So you fully agree or you fully disagree. So if you agree, then you say, in fact, and then you say, how much do you agree? I wholeheartedly believe, you can say believe that. I wholeheartedly believe that adolescents. So we need to be relevant to the premise. Okay, the premise isn't should they be encouraged? It's not. You can say that. You can say that as a paragraph summary, like therefore adolescents should be encouraged, but you're not answering the premise in your introduction, so you're losing marks for task response. So you have to say simply, are playing outdoor games more or less beneficial? That's what you have to say. You have to say more or less. Important than. So I hope that makes sense. AJ, are you there? Let me know if you're there, if you have a question about that. Okay. So it's not about they should be encouraged. I wholeheartedly believe that adolescents participating in sports and various other outdoor physical activities is better for their all-round development. Okay, so it's very important that you answer, and various is better for their all-round development, that you answer the question. It's not should they be encouraged. Great. Firstly, playing sports will help you. We're going to try and avoid you, we, he, or she. Personal pronouns aren't great in academic writing. Firstly, playing sports will help young people to stay fit and healthy, which are essential aspects of every child across the world. They're not essential aspects of a child, which are essential aspects of the development or the health of development of. Hope that makes sense. Whatever the sports teens are playing on you don't need a comma there. Whatever the sports teens play on a daily basis is present simple, or it's a habit. So you don't want are playing, you just want play. They have to perform their task, which makes them sweat, just not quite often, which just simply makes them sweat, and also makes them, which is plural, and also helps to reduce their body fat, which are quite important for the development of minors. Good word, good synonym, AJ, but no the. So with people, with citizens, with individuals, with children, with minors, no the, unless you have of afterwards. Minors, otherwise, of minors. Finish the sentence there. Otherwise, by playing indoor games, they will become couch potato. It's a great word. It's not academic. You can't put that in your essay, though. They will become sedentary. Sedentary. And have obesity problems. For instance, it has been observed that Japanese schools, I know about Japanese schools, yes, have a policy to involve minors to do physical activities, and it has benefited the children as they have grown up to remain fit. Thus, the children should be motivated to do such. Good. Okay. Good. Furthermore, actively participating in sports competitions, not the sports. So all sports competitions. Benefits teenagers in the development of not only physical, but also its mental, not its, teenagers, not its, but also the development of not only physical, but also their mental health. And they learn the importance of sports in society. We don't have that. It's possible, but it's not great. Many teenagers can build their career in this and can become athletes and will be able to represent their country in Olympic Games. For example, China encourages their teenagers such outdoor games at a very early age. That's why that's not very, and we can't do a contraction, which is why they have the highest number of athletes. Okay, that is why, consequently, let's say consequently, taking part, what tasks are best for children? Okay. Are best for the development. Always tie it back to the premise. The premise is the question. Development of children. To summarize, children should be provided. We don't have provided more exposure. Should provided with, we need preposition with, should be given more exposure, or should be exposed to, should be given more exposure to out of, to in. Okay, good. Okay. Good job, AJ. So my biggest issue was with your introduction. Your topic sentences were very good. No personal pronouns. Any comments before I go? I'm going to be sending out an email to people at the end of the week because I've been working on a way to make the academy more accessible for people. And so I'm going to be offering a monthly membership where you come and join me in the Zoom room and build essays and have feedback while you're writing. It's actually the only online IELTS program that is so focused on the students like this. So I've been selling it as a package, 6 weeks package, but it is a bit expensive for some people. And so I'm now going to be releasing it as a monthly membership with access to all of the lessons over the last year, all of the feedback, all of the essays, all of the videos. Yeah. Anyway, it's been lovely to see you. It is 12 noon in Scotland, and I'm going to go out in the snow and get a soup with a friend. And Thursday, what day is today? Tuesday, Thursday, I'm doing training in the afternoon. I might open that up if people want to join me in the Zoom room. 3 ways to explain your ideas. Good. Any last questions? Okay, great. See you soon.